Chapter 71. Fong Yu from Team Urim. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 71. Fong Yu from Team Urim. Team Golden Rocks. Zhao Fan, Zhang Feng, Zhang Cheng, and the team manager, the silver-haired youth, were in the stands, watching Su Jingming kill Tai Lianyun and Sun Li. This Su Jingming is too strong. Zhang Feng couldn't help but say, he's ridiculously strong. Even Captain isn't his match. It's possible that he has already attained strength that's close to Lu Hai and Lei Yunfang. Although Zhao Fan was a peerless genius, he felt the huge gap. The silver-haired youth beside him said, Su Jingming is very strong, but he's still inferior to Lu Hai and Lei Yunfang. Those two seniors cleared the third level of Cosmos Tower. The third level is very difficult. You've all seen the videos of Lu Hai and Tiger Fussin clearing it back then. Lu Hai spent tremendous effort clearing it, and Tiger Fussin barely cleared it thanks to luck. Yes. The three nodded. Yes, only by clearing the third level of Cosmos Tower could one be considered to be close to Lu Hai and Lei Yunfang. Those were the two greats in China's martial arts world, mountains even, but as a mountain, Su Jingming was already very high compared to them. Captain. Zhao Fan and the others stood up, and the silver-haired youth got up to welcome Tai Lianyun. This junior brother of mine is really strong. Tai Lianyun smiled happily. However, this battle gave me a breakthrough. Soon, my evolutionary method will break through to advanced. After his shield and saber broke through, Tai Lianyun was very confident that his evolutionary method could break through. I have to win Tai Lianyun over. After he breaks through, he will be one of the top experts in China, the silver-haired youth thought to himself. It will be too difficult to invite someone stronger than him. At this moment, Sun Li arrived, but everyone only nodded in greeting and didn't get up to welcome him. Only the team manager and captain were worthy of the rest standing up to welcome them. It's my fault. Sun Li walked over. Su Jingming hit it too well, I didn't even know his true strength when I was his teammate. His schemes and calculations were too impressive. Perhaps he already had the Firestarter Cup in consideration back then. It's fine if he kept it from his opponent, but he even hid it from his teammates. That junior brother of mine doesn't have that kind of personality. Tai Lianyun shook his head. Sun Li was taken aback, but he could only shut his mouth and stop. He became famous at a young age and put his heart and soul into training. He's the same as me, he only trusts his strength and doesn't care about scheming, Tai Lianyun said. He was a person who immersed himself in training. Regardless of how others schemed, he could naturally become world champion as long as he was strong enough. Instead of scheming, one might as well focus on improving their strength. Captain, you're right. After all, I wasn't that close to him in the past. Sun Li nodded. Being in Team B, you naturally don't know him well. Tai Lianyun sighed. This junior brother of mine is even more talented than me. I'm envious. Although he spoke of envy, Tai Lianyun's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Having lost this time, he would definitely win it back next time. Of the 5 main members of the team, Sun Li is indeed weak, and he doesn't have much potential. The silver-haired youth stood to the side and thought to himself. Getting him at the last minute could only be considered an interim solution for the Firestarter Cup, but the effects are clearly very ordinary. I still have to find another sharpshooter. I can also save some money by terminating the contract with Sun Li after the competition. As the sponsor, he naturally had a clause that allowed termination of the contract based on the results of the competition. Jingming, well done. Su Hong patted his son on the shoulder. The 8 extremities Tiger Pounce and Mountain Cleave at the end were executed beautifully. Dad, it's all thanks to you, Su Jingming said with a smile. Huh, Su Hong laughed heartily. He felt a sense of accomplishment seeing his son become better under his tutelage. Su Jingming, his relatives, and his friends watched the 6th match of the second round in a happy mood. Sixth match. Team Zhou Yi vs Team Urim. Zhou Yi is really strong. Yang Qingshua sighed in amazement. The arrows he strafes are stronger than my armor-piercing arrows, Wang Yi said. Su Jingming said, extraordinary strength is gained with an improved physique. With a high realm, it's natural that any random arrow has terrifying might. You can do it after you break through, Sister Yi, you can even do it better. Team Urim has it difficult. More than half of them died before they reached Zhou Yi. Heng Fong shook his head and sighed. The 5 members of Team Urim charged at Zhou Yi with great difficulty. As they faced the obstructions of Team Zhou Yi's other 4 members, they also had to deal with the terrifying bow and arrow. Zhou Yi didn't hide and instead shot an arrow dozens of meters away from them. Senior Lu Jianfeng gave up on attempting an assassination and instead went to kill the other members of Team Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi's teammates are quite average, Su Jingming commented. Zhou Yi's 4 teammates ended up being killed by Team Urim. There was only one person left on Team Urim, Captain Fong Yu. Zhou Yi. Fong Yu looked at Zhou Yi. There's only you and me left. It's very fair to fight 1.1. 1.1. Zhou Yi looked at him and wore the quiver on the ground with 2 quivers slung over him. Fong Yu was stocky and wore heavy armor. He had 6 short halberds on his back and held a city, storming halberd in hand. Fong Yu charged at Zhou Yi in large strides, and the latter did his best to fire. Fong Yu! Countless audience members exclaimed. Every arrow of Zhou Yi's was stronger than Wang Yi's armor-piercing arrows. Logically speaking, even if they couldn't pierce through heavy armor, they would affect one's speed when they hit the body. But if Zhou Yi's arrows landed on heavy armor, it would be like scratching an itch. Fong Yu wouldn't be affected at all when running. Only when an arrow was aimed at Fong Yu's head did Fong Yu use his halberd technique to block. All of them got blocked. Zhou Yi shot out 12 consecutive arrows, but Fong Yu blocked them perfectly. He wasn't injured at all and had already arrived in front of the former. Zhou Yi finally retreated. As he executed his movement technique, he continued firing. Dodging. Fong Yu instantly put down the city, storming halberd in his hand and drew 2 short halberds before throwing them forward instantly. The speed of the 2 short halberds was terrifying. The 2 halberds, which weighed several kilograms, broke through the sound barrier. This was much more terrifying than Zhou Yi's full-powered armor-piercing arrow. What terrifying strength! Su Jingming was surprised when he saw this. Can I throw a short halberd at that speed? Other than needing advanced techniques to throw the halberd, one needed sufficient strength. Zhou Yi only had time to fire an arrow to deal with the 2 short halberds flying at supersonic speeds before he immediately tried his best to dodge. He dodged one halberd, but the other halberd brushed past his body, tearing through his leather armor and sending large chunks of flesh flying. Clang! After throwing out 2 short halberds, Fong Yu raised his arms over his head to block the arrow. Boom! Fong Yu picked up the city, storming halberd on the ground and charged out again. The seriously injured Zhou Yi was no longer as fast as Fong Yu, but he still dodged as he fired arrows in a sorry state. However, Fong Yu charged over relentlessly. The city, storming halberd was like a bolt of lightning that sliced diagonally across Zhou Yi's body. Zhou Yi's body turned ethereal and disappeared. Team Urim won. Fong Yu was unharmed. This, countless viewers in China's official live stream fell silent. Even the host and 2 guests didn't know what to say. Zhou Yi lost, and he lost so badly. Fong Yu killed Zhou Yi in a 1.1 battle. Didn't they say that Lu Hai, Lei Yunfang, and Zhou Yi are the strongest 3? Countless audience members were stunned. Lu Xian looked at the prompter in front of her and said, "We didn't expect Su Jingming to be so powerful in the previous match, nor did we expect Zhou Yi to lose this match. He was killed by Fong Yu in a 1.1 battle." Fong Yu is 20 years old this year and is a civilian contestant. Perhaps nobody expected a civilian contestant to kill Zhou Yi after a month in the virtual world. The short halberd that Fong Yu threw is the most ferocious throwing weapon I've seen since the competition began. The male guest, Jin Fan, pointed at the slow-motion replay. The virtual world can determine that the highest speed of these two halberds are 393 meters per second and 407 meters per second, both exceeding the speed of sound. It has to be known that this isn't a very light bow and arrow, but a short halberd. How much strength is needed to throw this cannonball-like strike? He's only 20 this year. Jin Fan couldn't help but say, this reminds me of Tejano Zaire, ranked 4th on the Cosmos ranking. Tejano Zaire is also 20. I think Fong Yu's talent and potential can completely compare to Tejano Zaire. As the crowd boiled with excitement, Team Pearwood's members also felt the pressure. This Fong Yu is too strong, Yang Qingshua said. Brother Su, nobody in our team can withstand a single strike from him other than you. Su Jingming watched with anticipation in his eyes. Only such an opponent allowed him to fight to his heart's content. In the 7th match, Team Big Fish vs Team Heavenly Note. This match was relatively ordinary, there were no dazzling opponents. After a tough battle, Team Heavenly Note's Zhuang Ziyu, Yu Cheng, Wu Sai, Zhang Qian, and company worked together and finally won. However, it was also very tragic, only Zhang Qian stood on the battlefield. In the 8th match, Team Drifting vs Team Fairy Dance. In this match, the members of Team Fairy Dance did their best. Sun Yuding, sharpshooter Wang Nuan, Dai Xiaoqing, and Yuan Yujiao did their best, but Captain Zhang Qing didn't show much of her strength. Only when 2 of her teammates fell did Captain Zhang Qing truly exert her strength. With dual swords in hand, she was as fast as a phantom as she shuttled through the enemy camp. With a few sword flashes, Team Drifting was wiped out. Zhang Qing's sword techniques were truly like those of a sword immortal, beautiful and cruel to the extreme. She easily crushed a team, Wang Yi said. Zhang Qing probably broke through too. Her sword technique and evolutionary method have all broken through, Su Jingming said. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so easy. As they discussed, Lu Xian looked at the prompter on the commentary platform in front of her and smiled. The 8 matches of the Firestarter Cup's 2nd round have come to a close. The virtual world has also deduced the combat strength displayed by each team during their battles. Lu Hai's team and Lei Yunfang's team are still number 1 and number 2. The other teams are ranked according to their combat strength. With that said, a huge ranking chart appeared in the live stream. First, Lu Hai's elderly team, Captain. Lu Hai, 2nd. Team Lei Yunfang, Captain. Lei Yunfang, 3rd, Team Fairy Dance, Captain. Zhang Qing, Team Combat Strength. 21,284th, Team Urim, Captain. Fong Yu, Team Combat Strength. 21,135th, Team Pearwood, Captain. Su Jingming, Team Combat Strength. 21,087 6th, Team Shield and Axe, Captain. Xiong Tianshan, Team Combat Strength. 18,932 7th, Team Cloud Mountain, Captain. Hua Qingshan, Team Combat Strength. 16,228th, Team Heavenly Note, Captain. Zhuang Ziyu, Team Combat Strength. 16,035 At the same time, a battle lineup appeared. September 4th, 0.00. First match. Lu Hai's elderly team vs Team Heavenly Note. September 4th, 1.00. Second match. Team Lei Yunfang vs Team Cloud Mountain September 4th, 2.00. Third match. Team Fairy Dance vs Team Shield and Axe September 4th, 3.00. Fourth match. Team Urim vs Team Pearwood this, the members of Team Pearwood looked at the ranking. Our opponent tomorrow is Team Urim led by Fong Yu. Li Miao Miao was surprised. As Su Jingming watched, a fighting spirit rose in his chest. Did Fong Yu have what it takes to make him use his spearmanship? Meanwhile, Team Urim's members were also looking at the battle schedule. Of the 4 matches tomorrow, the other 3 should be one-sided. Only for us. Our opponent is Team Pearwood. The team members were under a lot of pressure. Senior Lu Jianfeng chuckled and nodded. Our opponent is Su Jingming. He's an unfathomable kid. Su Jingming. The silent Fong Yu stared at the battle schedule and said, I'll crush him tomorrow. Chapter 72. Promotional hype. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 72. Promotional hype. China, Life Evolution Bureau, 4 a.m. The waves ebbed. Secretary Guo knocked on the door gently. Come on in. A voice sounded from behind the door, which opened automatically. Director. Secretary Guo saw Director Zhou sitting at the desk and watching the replay of the competition. Secretary Guo said, the second round of the Firestarter Cup has ended, and the top 8 teams have been decided. Are the media's publicity promotions still going to follow the usual rules? The promotion of the matches and the experts will follow the usual rules, Director Zhou said with a smile, but you have to be flexible. For example, the first 3 of the 4 matches tomorrow aren't controversial, but the 4th match is different. Both teams are strong. It's a good topic of discussion. Increase the publicity for the 4th match, especially for Fong Yu and Su Jingming. Increase the level of publicity for the 2 of them to level 1. Level 1. Secretary Guo was surprised. Lei Yunfang is the only person with a level of publicity these days. Would such intense hype backfire? It's fine with Su Jingming, but Fong Yu is only 20 years old. If we overdo it, I'm worried. Lu Hai's publicity is at a special level. Everyone knows about him, Director Zhou said with a smile. I don't see him being destroyed either. The character of a true expert is also very important. If he's destroyed so easily from receiving popularity, he wouldn't have a future. It's fine if he's ruined. Yes, sir, Secretary Guo replied respectfully. There's not much time left for Earth, Director Zhou said softly. We have to make the best use of our time and think of ways to groom batch after batch of experts. China's strategy is already considered gentle compared to how they're doing it in Japan. I understand. Secretary Guo nodded. We will immediately assign missions according to the requirements of a level 1 publicity. Director Zhou nodded. In the morning, Su Jingming and his family ate breakfast together. Family gatherings were usually held during breakfast these days. After a night of virtual world gaming, breakfast was the time when there was much to discuss. Grandson, your tips for today's match are really high. Grandpa Su was especially sensitive to tips. He sighed and said, more than 10 million in one match. I only get slightly more than a quarter of that eventually, Su Jingming said. You think it's too little? Punk, Grandpa Su glared at him. By the side, Li Miao Miao said, because people have watched too many divine matches and are used to all kinds of amazing performances, it's getting harder and harder to get them to tip us. Even if one performs very well in the Firestarter Cup, it's already very rare to receive 1 million in tips. Jingming received more than 10 million in that match yesterday, so it should be the highest since the Firestarter Cup began. When Fong Yu defeated Zhou Yi, the tips he received were only about 3 million. He's a fool. Grandpa Su immediately said, to get tips, one needs to work up the audience's excitement. For example, Jingming did very well. He first dealt with the 3 members of Team Golden Rock, and each kill hyped up the audience. 3 consecutive kills raised the audience's excitement. Then, he fought Tai Lianyan. The audience was excited enough, so they naturally tipped him. Fong Yu was different, he didn't unleash his full strength in the beginning. He only unleashed his strength in a 1-on-1 battle against Zhou Yi. Once he unleashed his strength, he was unbelievably fierce and violent. The audience was still reeling in their shock when he had killed Zhou Yi. The battle ended after that, and there was no way to tip him anymore. Many audience members hadn't even reacted to the situation, and the competition was over. Grandpa Su shook his head. He doesn't know how to earn tips at all. Earning tips is about stirring the audience's emotions and giving them time to release it. He just didn't give the audience enough time to vent their emotions. Su Jingming gave his grandfather a thumbs up. Li Miao Miao exclaimed in surprise, "Grandpa, I've live-streamed too, but I didn't think too much about it." "How many times have you live-streamed? Yours is just a rounding error when compared to mine." Grandpa Su shook his head. "Back then, I spent at least 5 hours a day and didn't stop working the entire year. After live-streaming for so many years, these are all basic skills. It's a pity that I don't have my eldest grandson's spear and shield techniques. If I were as good as him, I'd live-stream. I'll be humble, but it'll be easy for me to be one of the top 3 streamers on the spectator platform." "Sometimes, unleashing all your strength doesn't attract attention," Grandpa Su said. "You can even act on purpose to create the battle situation you want and completely stir up the audience's emotions. Only then will the audience be excited." "Act." Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao were puzzled. Most of the audience knows that you're acting, but if your competition gives them a plethora of emotions, joy, happiness, delight, then they will love your live stream, Grandpa Su said. "To put it simply, you're a performer in a live stream. You have to put up a brilliant performance. Be it anger or shouting, these are all part of the act. If the performance is good, the audience will tip you." Li Miao Miao nodded. "Got it. I won't be able to master that." Su Jingming shook his head. "Martial arts and weaponry combat are my lifelong pursuit." Grandpa Su looked at his grandson. "Perhaps this is why you're so strong, but the so-called lifelong pursuit isn't something that excludes others. You can also increase the viewing pleasure of your matches while pursuing martial arts." "It's too troublesome." Su Jingming frowned when he heard that. "Sometimes, you don't even need to act. You just need to change some of the combat methods to increase the viewership highlights," Grandpa Su said. "I don't need money," Su Jingming said. "I really don't want to waste my time. I haven't started a live stream yet." "Yeah." His eldest grandson didn't even do live streams. Grandpa Su shook his head helplessly and left. "Nobody inherited my live streaming techniques that I've honed my entire life. What a pity." Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao looked at each other and smiled. The two of them couldn't pick it up. Su Jingming was more focused on martial arts and didn't even want to live-stream. Li Miao Miao only live-streamed once a month before the virtual world. Nowadays, she mostly live-streamed herself playing games. She was very serious about singing and only started once after ample preparation. "Dad, you are trying to teach your live-streaming techniques again." Su Hong ate his meat buns as he smiled at his father. "You wanted to teach me back then too. None of you lack money." Grandpa Su shook his head. "When you lack money, you'll realize that this is a good skill." The news was playing on the wall projection. A huge dark horse appeared in the second round of the Firestarter Cup national tournament. Tai Lianyun, who took first place 3 times, was easily defeated by Su Jingming in the Firestarter Cup. The family that was having breakfast turned their heads. A battle scene appeared on the news. Su Jingming was like a god. He smashed 3 members of Team Golden Rock into nothingness with a shield and sent Tai Lianyun flying into a residence. Of Team Golden Rock's 5 members, 4, including Captain Tai Lianyun, were killed by Su Jingming alone with his shield. In Penghai City, Ching Zihao stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows in his office, looking down at the bustling scenery of Penghai City. Tisk, tsk, tsk. This new office is still inferior to my immortal abode in the virtual world. Ching Zihao sighed. The program on the wall projection was discussing Su Jingming and Fang Yu. I think more highly of Fang Yu. Fang Yu fought Zhou Yi on point 1 and killed him head-on. Who's Zhou Yi? He has been one of China's top 3 experts for a long time. If Fang Yu can kill him, he's completely qualified to be one of China's top 3. As for Su Jingming, he only defeated Tai Lianyun, who is far more inferior to Zhou Yi. Did you watch the competition? Su Jingming crushed each person with one shield. Tai Lianyun failed to force Su Jingming into unleashing his full strength. Moreover, he's 29 this year and has experience in the international tournament. He's also much more experienced than Fang Yu. Yeah, he's 29. Fang Yu is only 20, and that's why Fang Yu is a genius. Let's pause for a moment. Let's take a look at some information on Fang Yu. This is the first-hand information our program team has. Some information about Fang Yu's growth started playing in the program. Boss. By the side, Zhou Feng was puzzled. What's going on? Why is there news about Su Jingming and Fang Yu everywhere today? All kinds of programs talking about them. Everyone is paying attention to the Firestarter Cup after all. Ching Zihao thought nothing of it and said, there are a total of 4 matches in the 3rd round. Only Su Jingming and Fang Yu's match is controversial, so it's normal. But this Su Jingming really lucked out. Ching Zihao curled his lips. A kid who retired with a broken leg actually made a comeback in the virtual world era. However, there are many hidden talents in China, and there are countless civilian experts. It's only been a month, but Fang Yu has appeared. I believe that in a few months, more than 100 Fang Yu will appear. When that happens, Su Jingming will be nothing. Boss, you're right. In the past, professional gladiators were the geniuses of 1 million people worldwide. Now, there are 7 billion people competing. Most of the past professional gladiators can't be considered geniuses. Zhou Feng nodded. It's just that, Zhou Feng looked at the program and frowned. Boss, I've been collecting information on all kinds of live streams. I keep having the feeling that the discussion about Su Jingming and Fang Yu today is a little exaggerated. After all, one defeated Tai Lianyun and the other defeated Zhou Yi. If they were the ones eliminated, how many people would talk about them? Ching Zihao frowned. Alright, let's not talk about Su Jingming. What a wet blanket. Yes. Zhou Feng understood that his boss didn't like Su Jingming. Make the best use of your time to keep yourself busy with our company, Ching Zihao instructed. It's now the time for our live streaming company to rapidly grow. The Firestarter Cup has clearly stirred up the emotions of everyone. Everyone practices martial arts and pays attention to martial arts live streams. It's clearly much more popular than in the past. Yes, Zhou Feng replied obediently. In a bar. Sun Li got drunk at the bar despite it being daytime. He looked up at the screen in the bar, which had been split into 2. On it was the scene of Su Jingming killing Tai Lianyun, and below it was the scene of Fang Yu killing Zhou Yi. The host spoke excitedly. Why are Su Jingming and Fang Yu everywhere? Sun Li looked at the screen with red eyes. That scheming Golden Rock group kicks me out the moment the competition ends. How can they be so despicable and shameless? Sun Li was furious and aggrieved. If it weren't for you, I would still be in Su Jingming's team. The prize money for the competition alone would be more than what your Golden Rock team gave me. None of these large corporations are any good. Sun Li looked up and drank his alcohol, feeling furious and aggrieved. Chapter 73. Mars. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 73. Mars. Amidst everyone's anticipation, the third round of the competition was about to begin. Half an hour before the competition, there were already many viewers on China's official livestream channel. In the stands, Team Pearwood's 6 members were sitting together. "Captain," Wang Yi said with a smile. "In all the programs these days, you and Fang Yu are the 2 most talented geniuses in China. This is because you and Fang Yu are the youngest among the top experts in China. You're 29, and he's 20. Heng Fang also said, "All kinds of programs say that the winner of this match can be considered China's #1 genius. He's younger than me." Su Jingming shook his head. "I've been a professional warrior for many years, while he's a civilian warrior. Even if I win, it only proves that I'm stronger than him. I'm not qualified to be considered the #1 genius." Fang Yu also practiced martial arts from a young age. "He has a solid foundation," Yang Qingshua said. "The virtual world was launched more than a month ago, so it's comparable to experiencing professional martial arts for several years. You can't say that he's inexperienced. There's no need to talk about potential or geniuses." Su Jingming stated, "Those are nothing. I only believe in the strength one shows. For example, my master, Lu Hai, is now world champion. Perhaps he will still be world champion in half a year. In terms of strength, I'm still a distance away from master and senior Lei Yunfang," Su Jingming remarked calmly. In the stands, the 6 members of Team Fang Yu were also there. "The weakness of our team is that we don't have a sharpshooter," a middle-aged man said. "The other party has a sharpshooter like Wang Yi. We have to think of a way to reduce the other party's advantage, otherwise, you wouldn't have the chance to fight Su Jingming fair and square. Being constantly watched by Wang Yi, little Fang Yu can only use 70% of his strength when fighting Su Jingming." Lu Jianfeng nodded. "The few of us have to think of a way to finish Wang Yi off even if it costs us our lives. The remaining warriors are no threat to little Fang Yu." "Dad, uncle, master, grandmaster," Fang Yu said. "Don't worry. I had a breakthrough in my evolutionary method. Even if I wear heavy armor, I can run faster than Wang Yi. Killing Wang Yi isn't difficult. Listen to your grandmaster." Fang Yu's father glared. "I'll challenge Su Jingming on point 1 later and see if he has the guts to accept," Fang Yu said directly. "This punk," Lu Jianfeng smiled. He still liked Fang Yu despite the fact that they were 2 generations apart. Fang Yu's father said, "Our branch is considered the strongest in the country for Xingyi. Countless people in the industry are watching us, so we have to create conditions for you so that you can at least fight Su Jingming fairly and showcase our Xingyi strength. What era is it now? It's all about incorporating the good from every school. Don't keep harping about Xingyi," Fang Yu retorted his father. "Su Jingming also has the 8 extremities and poking foot. He even learned Taiji from senior Lu Hai." Fang Yu's father glared, but he didn't have a retort. All right. Little Fang Yu is right, don't worry too much about Xingyi," Lu Jianfeng said with a smile. "That's the good thing about Lu Hai. As long as it's useful, he draws upon it. Little Fang Yu, just focus on fighting and unleash your full strength." "Yes," Fang Yu replied. He deferred to his grandmaster the most. On Mars. This was a planet where Earthlings had discovered a large number of alien ruins. Dozens of spaceships hovered over Mars like a space fleet, and every spaceship had the Earth Alliance flag printed on it. One of the spaceships had the Earth Alliance flag and China's flag printed on it. In the ship, a middle-aged man walked in the corridor. Professor. The other researchers in the corridor all respected this middle-aged man. The middle-aged man looked at the display in the corridor. It was showing a program on Earth. "Little Wu," the middle-aged man said. "Professor." The young researcher immediately stepped forward and listened obediently. "I've heard the names Su Jingming and Fang Yu a few times today. They're the two most famous geniuses in the country, the middle-aged man asked. The young researcher nodded. Yes. Both of them are very strong, and they are the youngest of the strongest few. One is 29, and the other is only 20. They have unlimited potential. Unlimited potential. The middle-aged man nodded slightly and continued walking. They walked along the corridor, passing through one zone after another. Soon, they arrived at his private area. A huge spherical object appeared in front of him. The middle-aged man walked to the floating spherical object, and it opened a door. The middle-aged man then stepped in, and the door closed. Inside the sphere. The middle-aged man stood in the center of the sphere spanning 10 meters as beams of light appeared. Connect, the middle-aged man ordered. Buzz. The middle-aged man's consciousness rapidly sank, and he arrived in front of a huge network structure. Enter Earth's virtual world, the middle-aged man ordered. Buzz, his consciousness quickly plummeted to the virtual world that represented Earth. Welcome home, Professor Wang. The virtual world didn't stop him. After entering the virtual world, Professor Wang was very familiar with the spectator platform and came to China's official livestream channel. In the livestream stands. Professor Wang appeared and looked at the host on stage. He also saw countless audience members, they were all from his hometown. How lively, Professor Wang smiled as he watched. Ha! Elsewhere in the stands, Director Zhou was sitting with Pang Yun's father. With his high clearance, he immediately saw Professor Wang, who was enveloped by a purple glow. Little Pang, let's go. I'll bring you to meet someone. Director Zhou got up. Oh. Pang Zhe got up curiously. The two arrived close to Professor Wang. When Professor Wang saw who it was, he immediately got up. Director Zhou. Let me introduce you, this is Pang Zhe, Director Zhou said with a smile. He's China's hero. Little Pang, this is China's overall in charge on Mars, Professor Wang Qi. Professor Wang, I've finally gotten to meet you. You live on Mars all year round, so it must have been tough on you, Pang Zhe immediately said. I've always admired scientists like you. It's much better now. The living environments and experimental environments are much better. Moreover, I can occasionally contact my family through the virtual world. Professor Wang looked at Pang Zhe curiously. I've long heard of you, Pang Zhe. Impressive. Although we are on different fronts, we are all contributing to the country. Pang Zhe nodded. It's rare for you to come to Earth to watch the Firestarter Cup, Director Zhou said with a smile. After all, this is life evolution and the future of humans. Professor Wang gazed at the commentary platform. Moreover, I heard that two extremely talented youngsters will be fighting today. Yes, according to the virtual world's calculations, they are now China's #1 talent and #2 talent in terms of potential. Director Zhou nodded. Fang Yu cultivates ferocious tiger evolution, and his compatibility is the only one in the country that exceeds 100%, reaching 103%. Over 100%. Professor Wang was surprised. The evolutionary method's compatibility typically maxes out at 100%, exceeding 100% means that it exceeds the evolutionary method itself. Su Jingming improved very quickly in terms of combat techniques, Director Zhou said. His spearmanship broke through LV 330% in just a few days. One is extremely talented in physique, while the other is extremely talented in combat techniques. Professor Wang smiled. This match is interesting. Pang Zhe said, back then, I watched Su Jingming's competitions in reality and felt that there was something special about his spearmanship. I even got my son to be his disciple and learned spearmanship from him for 3 years. Mr. Pang, you have extraordinary acumen, Professor Wang said. How's your son's strength now? Ha! Pang Zhe laughed. The captain of Team Happy, which came last in the preliminaries of the Firestarter Cup, is my son. Team happy. Professor Wang smiled and nodded. To be able to participate in the Firestarter Cup means that they have reached divine. They can be considered an early batch of divine experts from China. Not bad. If they continue growing, I believe they will have a chance of breaking through that level. I hope so too, but this path is too difficult. Pang Zhe sighed. Su Jingming and Fang Yu are the best, so I believe it won't be a problem for them to break through that level. However, I'm already thankful if my son can break through in 50 years. Don't underestimate your son, Director Zhou said. The three of them chatted and laughed as they watched the live stream. The competition began. Countless people were watching the competition. Be it the country's higher-ups, ordinary citizens, or experts like Su Jingming, they all watched the competition carefully. This was a battle between the top teams in China. In the first match, Lu Hai's elderly team versus Team Heavenly Note. Although Team Heavenly Note had sharpshooter Zhuang Ziyu, Yu Cheng, Wu Sai, Zhang Qian, and other experts, the battle was one-sided when they forced Lu Hai, the captain of Lu Hai's elderly team, to make a move. Lu Hai's elderly team won and became the first team to advance to the top 4. In the second match, Team Lei Yunfang versus Team Cloud Mountain. Although Team Cloud Mountain was very outstanding, Hua Qingshan and Chang Qingpeng's teamwork was excellent, experts who had yet to break through to LV. 3 were dispatched by Senior Lei Yunfang with a single strike. Team Lei Yunfang became the second team to advance to the top 4. Everything happened as expected. The two seniors teams easily won, Yang Qingshua praised. None of their opponents have broken through to LV3, Su Jingming said as he watched the competition. They naturally pose no threat to the two seniors teams. In the third match, Team Fairy Dance versus Team Shield and Axe. Xiong Tianshan of Team Shield and Axe had indeed broken through to LV3, but it only happened recently. His evolutionary method had yet to break through to advanced. Therefore, when facing Team Fairy Dance, it was similarly one-sided, Team Shield and Axe were swept away by Zhang Qing's 2 swords. There's still the last match in the third round. Li Miao Miao was a little nervous. Our team versus Team Fang Yu. Let's do this. Yang Qingshua gritted his teeth. Finish them off, Lu Chongyuan said. Wang Yi fell silent. She had already attuned herself to optimal state and was ready to unleash a massacre at any moment. Get ready. Su Jingming saw the system notification and immediately got up. Chapter 74. Su Jingming and Fang Yu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 74. Su Jingming and Fang Yu. Su Jingming and the others got up and accepted China's official live stream invitation. Whoosh! Su Jingming felt the scene in front of him change, and he found himself on stage. Lu Xian was guiding him with a smile. 6 members of Team Pearwood, please have a seat. At this moment, the stands were filled with tsunami-like cheers. It surprised Su Jingming. These cheers, Yang Qingshua, Heng Fang, Lu Chongyuan, and Li Miaomiao were equally surprised. This was because the cheers from before weren't that loud. Li Miaomiao whispered to her boyfriend, Jingming, it looks like you've gained a lot of fans from the last battle. Su Jingming could hear many people shouting his name. Su Jingming. Spear Demon Su Jingming. Shield Demon Su Jingming. All kinds of cheers. Although he had participated in the World Martial Arts Tournament, how big was the turnout? Such earth-shattering cheers still made Su Jingming's heart race. It looks like Team Pearwood is very popular. Lu Xian was already used to it. The 6 members of Team Pearwood sat down, and at this moment, the 6 members of Team Fang Yu arrived. Similarly, there were earth-shattering cheers. After all, with more than 1 billion viewers, the cheers were terrifying. The live stream had already tried its best to reduce the impact of the sound so that the sounds were within tolerable standards. Both teams have many supporters. Lu Xin smiled at Team Fong Yu's oldest member, Grandpa Lu Jianfeng. Hello, Senior Lu Jianfeng. Hello. Lu Jianfeng smiled amiably. I remember that you fought Su Jingming in the first divine battle, Lu Xin said. Fong Yu is your teammate this time. Can you comment on the two of them? Lu Jianfeng laughed and said, in the first divine battle, my first assassination attempt targeted Su Jingming. This kid's reaction was too fast, and he struck too quickly. I nearly failed to assassinate him and lost my life. This kid is very strong. I think Su Jingming should be able to withstand some attacks from Fong Yu's city storming halberd. However, our team will definitely win in the end. Senior, you're very confident. Lu Xian looked at Wang Yi. Wang Yi, you're the only sharpshooter of the two teams. Are you confident in this match? Fong Yu is very strong. Wang Yi nodded. But as long as his head isn't defended in time, he will definitely die if an arrow hits him. Fong Yu frowned slightly as he sat there and looked up at Su Jingming. Su Jingming also sensed his gaze and looked over. Their gazes met. His body had also reached advanced evolution, and this resulted in an astonishing level when it came to life's magnetic field. At this moment, when the two looked at each other, the hostility from life's magnetic fields made everyone in the stands feel pressured. Captains, Lu Xian also noticed this scene and said. Host, I want to ask Captain Su Jingming something, Fong Yu suddenly said. Lu Xian was taken aback. As a host, it was rare for team members to snatch control from her. All right. Of course, you can ask, Lu Xian said. Fong Yu was much more muscular than Su Jingming, and his eyes were much more domineering. He looked at the latter and said, Captain Su Jingming, I admit that your team having sharpshooter Wang Yi is an advantage in this battle. It would be a pity if you and I can't unleash our full strength because of sharpshooter Wang Yi. The arena fell silent. Fong Yu continued, therefore, I hope that you and I can have a fair 1-on-1 battle on the battlefield. No other teammates are to interfere. The moment that was said, the stands boiled over. 1-on-1, he wants a 1-on-1. Do you think Su Jingming is stupid? He clearly has the advantage with a sharpshooter, would he want to fight you 1-on-1? Fong Yu is such an asshole. He's trying to get the other party to give up his advantage. I really want to see the two of them fight an earth-shattering battle 1-on-1. Countless audience members discussed. Lu Xian also felt that something was amiss and immediately said, the rules of the competition are a battle between the two teams. Sharpshooters are also Team Pearwood's advantage, so how can I admit defeat, said Fong Yu coldly. Lu Xian was a little stunned. Admit defeat. The 6 members of Team Pearwood glanced at Fong Yu. The other 5 members of Team Urim also stared at Fong Yu. Although they were a little puzzled, nobody refuted him. BL.net, I can admit defeat in this match, but there's only one condition. Fong Yu looked at Su Jingming. Su Jingming, have a fair 1-on-1 battle with me. After the outcome is determined, our side will admit defeat. What are you up to? Fong Yu's father asked through the team chat. How can you admit defeat on a whim? Grandmaster, Uncle, Master, Uncle, Dad, Fong Yu said in the team chat. I've never cared about winning or losing a competition. I've always pursued being the world's strongest. With more than 1 billion people watching, I'm looking forward to a life-and-death battle with Su Jingming that nobody will interfere in. I think this battle will be of great help to me. Even if I lose the competition, I want to carry out this battle. Seniors Lu Hai and Lei Yunfang have long cleared the Cosmos Tower's 3rd level. I'm still not their match. Su Jingming is the most suitable opponent for me at this stage, Fong Yu said in the team chat. I need a life-and-death battle that will stir my heart. The others in Team Urim looked at each other and nodded slightly. We are also doing this to nurture Ur. Since Ur needs this battle, let's heed his request, Lu Jianfeng said in the team chat. Their lineage had spared no expense at grooming Fang Yu. They had discovered Fang Yu's talent when he was young. They had groomed him with all their might and didn't even want him to participate in the martial arts tournament early to prevent his future from being ruined by the world's top experts before he reached his peak at such a young age. The appearance of the virtual world allowed Fang Yu to grow rapidly in terms of experience, reaching an astonishing level. On stage, Lu Xian immediately said, "The competition doesn't allow admitting defeat. This is my agreement with Su Jingming. Su Jingming, let's have a life-and-death battle that won't be affected by anything. After the battle, Team Urim will give up on this match." Fang Yu looked at Su Jingming. "I'm looking forward to fighting you." Captain, Wang Yi, Heng Fang, Yang Qingxua, and Lu Chongyuan looked at their captain. Li Miao Miao also looked at her boyfriend. "I don't need you to admit defeat." Su Jingming looked at Fang Yu and smiled. "Because we will defeat you and win this battle on our own accord. As for a 1.1 life-and-death battle that won't be disturbed." Su Jingming stared at Fang Yu. "I'm looking forward to it too." Fang Yu's eyes lit up. "We'll let the other teammates fight to their heart's content. We'll fight after the battle," Su Jingming said. "All right." Fang Yu smiled excitedly. Lu Xian looked at the notification and immediately said, "Please get ready. The battle between the two teams will begin." Whoosh! Whoosh! The two teams disappeared and headed for the combat space's preparation area. Both parties chose their weapons and equipment. Su Jingming still wore light armor and held a spear and dual shields, but his equipment had undergone changes after his evolutionary method reached advanced. For example, although the style of light armor and combat boots remained the same, their weight had increased to 150 kilograms. In a situation where the appearance remained the same, the increase in weight meant an increase in density, and the armor's defense would also increase greatly. Only such light armor could block an ordinary arrow from an advanced archer. The weight of the weapons and shields increased correspondingly, otherwise, they would feel too light. With physical evolution, my bone density and muscle density have all increased significantly. Su Jingming selected his equipment and thought to himself. I didn't grow fat at all, but my weight is more than 3 times that of before I cultivated the evolutionary method. His bones were harder than metal alloys, and his muscles were tougher than steel wires. This was why he could exert such terrifying strength, so his weight was naturally high. The map is the ancient battlefield. Su Jingming looked at the small map and then at Fang Yu. Fang Yu also looked at him. 10 streams of light plummeted to the map. Lu Xian looked at the 10 people choosing weapons and equipment and introduced, "Let me share some general knowledge with everyone. After your body reaches advanced, the weight of the weapons and equipment one chooses will increase greatly. The light armor used is usually between 120 kilograms to 200 kilograms. Heavy armor will also exceed 600 kilograms. Otherwise, one's defense against an expert at the same level will be considered weak if it's too light." How ridiculous! With my silver moon strength, I won't be able to walk if I were to wear 600 kilograms of heavy armor. Not many divine experts dare to wear such heavy armor either. Didn't you hear? They have to reach advanced. When can I become so strong? To travel at 100 kilometers per hour while wearing heavy armor weighing 600 kilograms. Countless people exclaimed in surprise. In the ancient battlefield, 10 streams of light landed and scattered everywhere. The buildings here only had dilapidated ancient city walls. Outside the ancient city wall was a dark red land that didn't provide any cover, as if it was dyed red by blood. After Su Jingming and Fang Yu landed, they stood about 200 meters away from each other and stared at each other from afar. Let's fight first and leave the final battlefield to Captain and the others, Wang Yi said in the team chat. They also knew that the gap between them and their captain was too great. They were on completely different levels, there was no need for them to join forces. Die. Block them. Watch out for the sharpshooter. The battle between the two teams erupted. However, both parties simultaneously avoided the two team leaders. Su Jingming and Fang Yu looked at each other and observed each other. We have to kill the opposing sharpshooter. Lu Jianfeng and the others charged at the archer without any regard for anything. This was the ancient battlefield, and they could see everyone's location at a glance. There was no cover, so it was relatively simple to kill the archer. Protect Sister Yi. Yang Qingxua, Lu Chongyuan, and Heng Fang wanted to block the other party. The battle began. One side wanted to put up an obstruction, while the other wanted to assassinate them. As long as they could intercept the other party, Wang Yi's arrows would find a suitable opportunity to strike. However, it was very difficult for Yang Qingxua and the others to stop the four fearless experts who only wanted to assassinate Wang Yi. Pft, pft. Members from both teams collapsed one after another in battle. Wang Yi eventually died from Lu Jianfeng and Fang Yu's uncle. Master's joint attack, but with the help of her teammates, she killed 3 people in succession. Whoosh! The seriously injured Heng Fang and Yang Qingxua were still standing, but their 4 opponents had been wiped out. Su Jingming and Fang Yu heard the sounds of their teammates fighting and saw the battle scene, but they didn't interfere. They waited until all 4 members of Team Urim were wiped out, leaving Heng Fang and Yang Qingxua in Team Pearwood. As expected, having a sharpshooter gives you an advantage, Fang Yu said softly. It's our turn now, right? Please. Su Jingming held his dual shields and looked at his opponent. Fang Yu's eyes turned cold as he held the thick city storming halberd and immediately charged over, sending tremors through the ground. The heavy armor Fang Yu wore was currently the heaviest in China, it reached an astonishing 800 kilograms. As an outstanding talent who had a compatibility score of 103% with ferocious tiger evolution, he felt that 800 kilograms of armor was suitable for him due to his extraordinary strength. Including his 300 kilograms of body weight and the weight of the city, storming halberd in his hand, he had already exceeded a ton in total weight. The might from moving at such a terrifying speed was obvious. In the blink of an eye, he covered more than half the 200-meter distance. Su Jingming saw the other party approach, and he moved his feet. Boom! Boom! His feet kicked the ground like lightning and fire erupting, and his eruption speed was much faster than Fang Yu's. His entire body instantly turned dark red as he charged forward. Chapter 75. Breakthrough during the Apex Showdown. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 75. Breakthrough during the Apex Showdown. Translator. Sitalan Fang Yu, who was wearing heavy black armor, suddenly released his city, storming halberd the moment he saw Su Jingming charge out. The city, storming halberd started falling as Fang Yu instantly pulled out the 2 short halberds on his back and flung them forward. The 2 short halberds tore through the air, and each of them broke through the speed of sound, hurling toward Su Jingming like 2 cannonballs. After throwing them out, Fang Yu immediately grabbed the city, storming halberd and charged at Su Jingming again. Weapon toss. Su Jingming saw this once with his own eyes. Fang Yu had thrown out 2 short halberds at close range, injuring Zhou Yi and ultimately finishing him off in one fell swoop. Su Jingming was mentally prepared after seeing the might of Fang Yu's strike. His weapon was also the most suitable shield for defense. Bang! Bang! The 2 shields only blocked slightly in front of him as 2 terrifying impacts crashed into the 2 shields. Then, the impact caused the 2 short halberds to fall to the side, leaving dents on the shields. After blocking 2 short halberds, the distance between Su Jingming and Fang Yu decreased to 10 meters. At this distance, it was too close for experts like them. Die! Fang Yu roared, and his voice was like a clap of thunder. Those who were a little timid would have been stunned from fright. With a loud shout, Fang Yu struck out with his city, storming halberd. The formidable city, storming halberd was about 3.2 meters long. It smashed down with terrifying might. Perfect timing. Su Jingming's eyes turned slightly red as he unleashed his speed again. He ignored the other party's weapon and charged straight for the other party's body. He held his dual shields and charged forward. The shield in his left hand blocked the city, storming halberd's mighty strike, and the shield in his right hand smashed at Fang Yu's body. The distance was too close. The city, storming halberd in Fang Yu's hand struck Su Jingming's left shield. Although the shield sank from the impact, it also blocked the impact. At the same time, Su Jingming's right shield had already arrived in front of him. A gust of wind blew over as the shield arrived in front of him. Fang Yu could only raise his arms slightly with the city, storming halberd and try his best to withstand the impact. Bam! The collision of the shield was like a landslide. Thankfully, Fang Yu had his arms to block and deflect the force, so the heavy armored him only took 2 steps back from the impact. As his opponent retreated, Su Jingming charged forward with his right shield and smashed at Fang Yu's face. 8 extremities, sky-piercing cannon. Fang Yu instinctively raised his arms, and the shield crashed into his arms. Fang Yu felt his arms, which were protected by his vambraces, tingle. He couldn't feel his arms. Su Jingming swung the shield in his right hand down when his attack was blocked by both arms. 8 extremities, mountain cleave. Bang! This time, it wasn't blocked at all, it struck Fang Yu square in the chest. Even though he was wearing heavy armor weighing 800 kilograms, Fang Yu's body sank into the ground from the strike all the way to his knees. The impact of the shield smashing down made Fang Yu's chest tighten, and he tasted blood, but he swallowed it back. Ah! The moment he sunk into the ground from the impact, Fang Yu roared with a ferocious expression. He brandished the city, storming halberd with all his might, and his might clearly elevated. Su Jingming immediately blocked with his shield. Bang! Su Jingming's expression changed slightly in this clash, and he was sent 3 steps back. What strength! It's much greater than the strength he unleashed at the beginning. Su Jingming realized that the other party's city storming halberd wasn't that powerful at the beginning. He hid his strength from the beginning. He didn't unleash his full strength. This Su Jingming, Fang Yu's expression twisted as he stared at his opponent. I can't let him get close. He has mastered the 8 extremities so much that it's ingrained. He nearly killed me with his combo attacks. I have to use my advantage and suppress him with my strength. My ferocious tiger evolution compatibility reaches 103%, and my strength far exceeds the normal range. I didn't want to use force to suppress him, but normal force can't suppress Su Jingming. I have to give it my all. Fang Yu held his breath. The earlier skirmish frightened Fang Yu. Su Jingming's shields were like the 2 giant paws of a tiger. One palm blocked, while the other slapped over. Then, he would grab upward and strike down. He was almost stunned by the consecutive combos. In the stands. Tiger climbing. Lu Hai exclaimed in surprise when he saw this scene. What a tremendous tiger climbing. When it attacks, it's like a fierce tiger climbing up a mountain, it strikes one claw after another in a combo. In fact, most 8 extremities experts practice one move diligently. This is because they can't even master one move well, so it's even more unlikely for them to practice a combo move. Lu Hai knew very well that there were only a handful of people in the country who could truly master tiger climbing. Every one of them was a true grandmaster expert of the 8 extremities. For example, Su Jingming's combo of 8 extremities crush, sky-piercing cannon, and mountain cleave actually had a basic concept. It was still the concept of tiger climbing. Tiger climbing didn't have a designated set of combos, and it was all about adapting to the situation. One changed the corresponding moves according to the enemy's moves, just like a tiger climbing up a mountain. It didn't care if it used its left or right paw first or if it pounced with both paws. His shield technique has completely become the 8 extremities shield technique, Lu Hai sighed. I felt that the Taiji shield technique is invincible, but in the hands of my disciple, the 8 extremities shield technique is clearly more suitable. Why can't I produce such an exquisite tiger climbing? Su Hong's eyes turned moist as he watched excitedly. I keep having the feeling that tiger climbing is too complicated, so I keep practicing tiger pounce. But seeing my son use this move, tiger climbing is truly powerful in the hands of a true expert. One combo after another. That Fong Yu is quite impressive as well. He actually forced my son back. Even the experts exclaimed in surprise. Even Fong Yu panicked from the impacts, and countless ordinary audience members were stunned. Su Jingming's series of moves were too cool. They were as fast as lightning. He first blocked the 2 city, storming halberd segments before closing in. They didn't even see it clearly and only felt the consecutive ferocious strikes of the shields that sank Fong Yu into the ground. Fong Yu frantically brandished the city, storming halberd to force Su Jingming back. Aren't shield techniques used for defense? How is Su Jingming's shield technique so strong? This is an attack shield, right? It's too fierce. I felt like a huge tiger was charging out and striking out with its claws. Why is he called Spear Demon Su Jingming? He should be called Shield Demon. A shield is clearly more suitable for Su Jingming. A shield is wonderful in his hands, it can both attack and defend. He can easily put up a defense, and his attacks are fierce. What a perfect weapon. Su Jingming, just use a shield in the future. A combination of offense and defense. A shield is indeed a good weapon, I'll try practicing it later. Countless audience members felt their blood boil from watching this. Such shield techniques were too pleasing to the eye. Fong Yu, who was wearing heavy armor, clashed with Su Jingming once again as they exchanged blows. As his compatibility score had reached 103%, Fong Yu felt that unleashing all his strength was bullying, but he couldn't be bothered anymore now. He unleashed all his strength, completely revealing it and making Su Jingming feel the strain. Bam! Bam! A shield was a weapon very suitable for defense and deflecting forces. Moreover, Su Jingming also knew how to deflect forces using Taiji, but he still found it difficult to block and deflect the attacks. How strong is this Fong Yu? Why is his explosive force so powerful? Su Jingming was dumbfounded. In fact, Su Jingming was shocked by Fong Yu's strength when he saw the 2 short halberds he threw reach about 400 meters per second. Even though the halberds were only a few kilograms in weight, it was unimaginable for them to be so fast. Back then, he felt that Fong Yu had to be very strong. But, this was way too much. With 103% compatibility with ferocious tiger evolution, Fong Yu's body is much stronger. In the stands, director Zhou also watched this scene. One force can defeat 10. The advantage of the body allowed him to have too many chances of winning in combat. Fong Yu's body was strong not only in strength but also in speed and agility. Fong Yu has unleashed his full strength. Even if his combat techniques are slightly inferior, he can still win with his physical advantage. Senior Lu Jianfeng arrived in the stands as well. He knew how talented Fong Yu was. I'm very impressed with your strength, but you're bound to lose. Fong Yu brandished his 3.2-meter long city, storming halberd. Every time the city, storming halberd sliced through the air, it would deliver an ear-piercing whistle as it attacked Su Jingming repeatedly. Su Jingming also tried to get close, but the city, storming halberd was too powerful, forcing him to retreat and dodge. His entire body seemed to have fallen into a huge whirlpool of undercurrents as the city, storming halberd attacked him repeatedly like undercurrents. After suppressing Su Jingming, Fong Yu could unleash the profundities of the halberd technique to his heart's content. Bam! 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 As Su Jingming blocked with his dual shields, he used his footwork time and time again, trying his best to escape the whirlpool's undercurrent and charge in front of Fang Yu. As long as he got close, he would have the advantage. Slash, stab, pull, slice. The city, storming halberd used all kinds of strength on the shield, threatening him time and time again. The restraints only made him feel worse. How many times can you defend in such a disadvantageous situation? You will lose if you make a single mistake. Fang Yu tried his best to use his halberd technique in a bid to break through the turtle dot-like shield. This also made Fang Yu's halberd technique even more exquisite. Human potential was slowly released under extreme pressure. My footwork is too clumsy. My explosive speed is very fast, but my agility is lacking. Under the pressure of the whirlpool dot-like undercurrents, Su Jingming increasingly discovered the flaw in his footwork. He focused on this battle and focused on mobilizing his body to fight. Gradually, his footwork seemed to become more agile. His entire body became lighter, much lighter. In the past, he felt that his body was heavy when using footwork, but he now felt lighter. He could move easily and change directions much more easily and agilely. Whoosh! Su Jingming's figure was like a ghost as he held his shield and clashed with the city, storming halberd. He used the momentum to dodge and quickly closed in. What? Fang Yu hurriedly brandished his city, storming halberd to block in shock. Bang! The shield crashed into the city, storming halberd, and Fang Yu failed to exert his full strength. He also couldn't help but take a step back. Su Jingming looked at him and smiled. He then laughed happily. Finally. He had finally broken through. My footwork has finally broken through to LV3. Su Jingming was delighted. Jingming's footwork that I understands, Lu Hai saw the difference at a glance. In the past, although Su Jingming's speed was explosive, he wasn't clumsy, and agile enough. Now, Su Jingming was extremely agile. He was like a bolt of lightning that could change directions at will. He had used the momentum to change directions and instantly arrived in front of Fang Yu. He even broke through with his footwork. Jingming's control over his body should have broken through to LV3 in every aspect, Lu Hai thought. Su Jingming's footwork is the weakest, but he broke through to LV3. The cold Lei Yunfang's eyes lit up when he saw this scene. It looks like his spearmanship, shield techniques, and footwork have all broken through to LV3. His control over his body is becoming more and more perfect. I finally have another opponent in China other than that old man, Lu Hai. Su Jingming was delighted. Strength starts from the feet. The breakthrough in footwork increases my strength in all aspects. My shield techniques and spearmanship have also improved greatly. Su Jingming didn't need to look at the combat strength interface to understand this. Spearmanship also required footwork. A powerful footwork could allow one to be much more terrifying with spearmanship. On the other side, Fang Yu was a little surprised and puzzled. He looked at Su Jingming. Did you? The more Su Jingming looked at Fang Yu, the more he liked him. It was this opponent who had allowed him to break through. Fang Yu, Su Jingming said, you're a worthy opponent. Fang Yu was slightly taken aback as he continued staring at Su Jingming seriously. To show my respect for you, Su Jingming looked at him. I'll use the weapon I'm best at to defeat you. As he spoke, Su Jingming threw out the dual shields in his hands. Bam! Bam! The two shields crashed to the ground and produced a sound as if they had crashed into Fang Yu's heart, leaving him stunned. Su Jingming pulled out the two spear parts on his back, connected them, and twisted them. Click! The spear segments locked in place. Spear demon Su Jingming smiled at his opponent, is in need of advice. What's this? What's Su Jingming doing? Countless viewers in the live stream were agitated. Lu Xian found it unbelievable on the commentary platform. He threw away his shields. Yes, spear demon Su Jingming threw away his shields. Jin Fan's eyes lit up as he watched the competition. This is getting more interesting. Chapter 76. With spear in hand, killing the enemy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 76. With spear in hand, killing the enemy. Heng Fang and Yang Qingxua stood on the other side of the ancient battlefield and didn't interfere with this battle. At this moment, when they saw Su Jingming throw away his shields and draw his spear, the two of them became excited. Brother Su's spearmanship is much better than his shield techniques. He was already at LV3 before the competition started. Yang Qingxua was filled with anticipation. Heng Fang's eyes burned. This is the first time old Su is using spearmanship in this competition. Su Jingming held the spear in his hand and felt calm. He had held spear shafts since he was a child and practiced his six-direction spear. He practiced jabbing and blocking every time. Day after day, year after year, he rose to prominence in the country during his youth and adolescence. He became the national team's linchpin at the age of 18 and reached the highest stage at the age of 20. Even though his future was ruined as a cripple, he had never given up on the spear in his hand and had honed an even better spearmanship. He made a comeback a few years later, making the entire martial arts world recognize his spearmanship as one of the top 10 in history. Over the years, the feeling of holding the spear shaft in his palm was ingrained into his soul. He had always felt regretful that the spearhead was spherical in reality during competitions. Moreover, it had a cushioning layer to protect the contestants. Only when the virtual world arrived did he truly experience the feeling of killing the enemy with a single strike. Stop acting all mysterious. The stocky Fang Yu held a storming halberd in his heavy black armor and stared at his opponent. Su Jingming, giving up on the shields was the most foolish thing you did in this battle. Shields are good for defense, so you can easily block my halberd technique. And if you use a spear, blocking my halberd technique will be 10 times harder. You and I both use long weapons. This halberd of mine is 3.2 meters long, much longer than yours. Every additional inch provides better performance. Don't you understand the most basic logic? Fang Yu was actually a little uneasy, so he used words to agitate Su Jingming, hoping to find out what was happening. Then, let's give it a try. Su Jingming moved. Whoosh! His figure turned ethereal as he charged at Fang Yu. Fang Yu stood still and focused on responding. Whoosh! The distance between Su Jingming and Fang Yu suddenly decreased. With Su Jingming and Fang Yu's speed, it was only a matter of an instant to cover the 60 centimeter advantage. If it were Lei Yunfang, the world champion in movement techniques, he might have been able to seize this moment. However, Fang Yu couldn't. Swish! The spear thrust out like a dragon the moment the figure arrived. The spear spun and arrived in front of him. Fang Yu hurriedly raised the storming halberd. Clang! He barely blocked the spear with the latter half of the halberd, and this made Fang Yu's heart tighten. How did it happen so quickly? After my footwork broke through, my entire body became more agile. With a thought, strength rises from my feet, and I become extremely fast and fierce. The speed at which I strike out has also increased. Su Jingming was delighted. A casual thrust of my spear is already a threat to Fang Yu. This was the first time he used his spearmanship at the Firestarter Cup. It was his first time using his spearmanship after his footwork breakthrough, and Su Jingming felt delighted. Boom! Su Jingming executed his footwork just as Fang Yu blocked the thrust, and with a twist of his spear, he struck out ferociously. At this terrifying speed, the spear shaft curved, and the spearhead cleaved down like an axe. Clang! Fang Yu immediately blocked with the storming halberd in his hand, but the terrifying explosive force made him take a step back. It was said that cleaving strikes were powerful, but Fang Yu was a peerless genius with an evolutionary method compatibility of 103% after all. He had a huge advantage in terms of physique, but he was still suppressed. It could only mean one thing. Su Jingming's physical force delivery technique was too strong. Even though his physique was ordinary, he still unleashed terrifying strength and speed. Pooh! Boom! Chi rip! Whoosh! He delivered one spear move after another as each move tore through the air with different sounds. Perhaps it was a penetrative move, perhaps it was a powerful tear, or perhaps it was a sudden burst of attacks. But there was one thing in common, an endless stream of attacks, one after another. Su Jingming used his footwork to utilize the recoil from every clash between weapons, borrowing the force of the collision to deliver the next strike endlessly. This was Su Jingming's most accustomed spearmanship. In his second entry into the World Martial Arts Tournament after breaking his leg, he pressed forward with an indomitable will and was known to be ferocious. This was because his leg was injured, and his footwork was too weak, so he had no choice but to choose such a combat method. Footwork determined at least half of one's strength, and that was no lie. Awesome! Awesome! Su Jingming was extremely delighted. The 100-meter radius around him was like a huge domain, and he could clearly control every aspect of it. Through the control of space, Fang Yu felt as if he had fallen into a spatial cage and couldn't escape. He could get as close as he wanted and as far as he wanted. He was the one doing the beating. Fang Yu couldn't threaten Su Jingming at all. This was also the reason why Su Jingming had always chosen light armor. He had always placed great importance on movement techniques. In the live stream stands, Team Urim's Lu Jianfeng and the others had solemn expressions. Little Fang Yu is in trouble. Lu Jianfeng frowned as he watched. Su Jingming's movement advantage is too great. He has completely grasped a spatial advantage, he can fight and leave whenever he wants. The initiative is completely in Su Jingming's hands. Yuer's halberd technique draws the will of dark waters, making it endless. It shouldn't be easy to crack it, Fang Yu's father couldn't help but say. It's useless. Su Jingming's spearmanship is like lightning, it's called speed, Lu Jianfeng said. When one's speed reaches a certain level, all kinds of connected attacks are useless. This is because the other party isn't wasting time with you at all. It's all one-hit kills at maximum speed. If you can block it, you live. If you can't block it, you die. Su Jingming is most famous for shadowless thrust. It's just that in the past, I didn't think it posed a threat. At that time, Su Jingming hadn't broken through to LV3. But when the body is at the advanced level of the evolutionary method, shadowless thrust after reaching LV3 is definitely much more terrifying. The few of them had solemn expressions as they sensed that the situation was going south. Fang Yu, who was fighting Su Jingming, felt it best. It feels terrible, Fang Yu was in pain. He felt as if Su Jingming was controlling a spiderweb. He was a worm trapped in the spiderweb, he couldn't charge forward, nor could he escape. Wearing his heavy armor and brandishing his halberd made him appear even more clumsy. Footwork, if my footwork breaks through to LV3, he won't be able to suppress me with my physique, Fang Yu was suffering. There was nothing he could do, his footwork hadn't reached that level. He could only use his halberd to defend against Su Jingming's consecutive strikes. Su Jingming consecutively struck out dozens of times, and his footwork and spearmanship became more and more perfect and smoother. He had a great time fighting. Bam! As Fang Yu's city, storming halberd trembled slightly from the strike, Su Jingming's hands holding the spear suddenly turned into a blur. Pft! The spear turned into a blur and returned to its original spot as if nothing had happened. Spearmanship. Shadowless thrust. Su Jingming looked across at Fang Yu holding the city, storming halberd. A hole had appeared in the latter's throat, and his body was beginning to turn ethereal. Fang Yu stared at Su Jingming, he had to remember this opponent. He was defeated very badly in this battle. When Fang Yu turned ethereal and disappeared from the battlefield, Su Jingming smiled and turned to look at Heng Fang and Yang Qingxua in the distance. He smiled and shouted, "We won. Brother Su, impressive." Yang Qingxua jumped up. "Old Su, awesome." Heng Fang laughed loudly. Amidst the laughter, Su Jingming, Heng Fang, and Yang Qingxua turned ethereal, and the entire battlefield map dissipated. Team Pearwood won and became the last team to enter the top 4. Chapter 77. Personal Combat Strength Interface. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 77. Personal Combat Strength Interface. Su Jingming, Heng Fang, and Yang Qingxua arrived at the live stream stands. Li Miaomiao, Wang Yi, and Lu Chongyuan were already waiting. Assistant Xiaozing and Sister Kong welcomed them warmly. "Captain, I feel immense reverence for you now." Lu Chongyuan took the initiative to step forward with a pious expression. "I'm the one who admires Captain the most," Yang Qingxua immediately said. "Make way." Li Miaomiao shouted, and everyone immediately gave way. The former then walked forward, and Su Jingming smiled at his girlfriend. "Well done." Li Miaomiao smiled happily. "I'm also a member of one of the 4 strongest teams in China. Captain, as a substitute member, I've decided to give you a reward." Su Jingming immediately lowered his head and kissed his girlfriend on the mouth. Li Miaomiao glared and looked around with a red face. "There are people." "Woo!" Heng Fang cheered. Wang Yi, Sister Kong, and the others around him laughed happily. "Brother Su is amazing. We've entered the top 4. Yang Qingxua's eyes lit up. "The prize money for the top 4 is 100 million. Just from being carried, I'm getting 16%, which is 16 million. Wow, I've never earned so much in my life." "This is also the most I've earned," Lu Chongyuan said excitedly. "Moreover, the virtual world will distribute this sum of money to us directly. We just need to pay taxes," Yang Qingxua said happily. "The prize money is considered a windfall. As long as we pay 20% income tax, we will ultimately receive more than 10 million. How wonderful. The prize money for being in the top 4 is guaranteed, but the prize money for being first, second, and third is even higher," Lu Chongyuan said. Before Su Jingming and Heng Fang appeared in the virtual world, they had earned quite a lot. However, Lu Chongyuan and Yang Qingxua had never earned that much. The person with the highest income was Wang Yi. She became famous at a young age and won 3 Olympic championships in a row. She was a force to be reckoned with, and she earned a lot just from the advertisement fees. In the virtual world era, she was also one of the top 3 streamers, so one could imagine her income. She watched silently from the side. She could sense Yang Qingxua and Lu Chongyuan's happiness. The later the competition, the more reliant we are on Captain alone, Wang Yi thought to herself. Captain has already given me the necessary environment for training. I've been in desperate straits several times and even got assassinated by my opponent. But under the pressure, I still haven't broken through to LV3. Wang Yi was very headstrong. She couldn't tolerate this sense of powerlessness, she yearned to break through. In the stands, Fang Yu walked to his parents. "Little Fang Yu, how are you feeling?" Lu Jianfeng asked. Fang Yu looked at the live stream. The host and guests were replaying the exciting battle scene and watching the slow-motion replay. He had completely lost the initiative under Su Jingming's spearmanship. What a fast strike. Fang Yu watched the entire replay and saw the final move, Shadowless Thrust. It was so fast that I didn't even have the time to react. The secret of Shadowless Thrust is that the time it takes to thrust the spear is shorter than the limits of one's reaction time. Lu Jianfeng nodded and said, as long as he has the chance to strike, one will be struck before they can react. Many people know the reason for this strike's might, but they can't learn it. Fang Yu nodded. Any move requires a starting stance to accumulate momentum. The process of accumulating momentum and force delivery is the most time-consuming. Even for extremely fast moves like thrusting and exerting force with inch punch, you have to accumulate momentum. Mr. Fong said, Su Jingming's shadowless thrust also accumulates momentum, but he only does it in a short amount of time. He gave up on combo.ing and did everything to push this move to its maximum speed. I've replayed this move of his many times in slow motion and have tried learning it, but I can't master it. What's an ultimate move? It's not so easy to learn an ultimate move, Lu Jianfeng said with a smile. This strike is too fast, and his footwork is impressive. Fong Yu nodded. I'm indeed inferior to him now, but I believe that once my footwork breaks through, I can win with my body's advantage. Lu Jianfeng, Mr. Fong, and the other seniors nodded. As long as Fong Yu's combat techniques were on par with his opponent, he could rely on his physical advantage to win. He had an innate advantage. On the commentary platform, Lu Xian gazed at the prompter in front of her and then looked up with a smile. The third round of the Firestarter Cup officially ends here. The virtual world has also deduced the combat strength of the winning teams. Other than Lu Hai's team and Lei Yunfang's team fixed at number 1 and number 2, the other teams are ranked according to their combat strength. With that said, a huge ranking appeared in the live stream. First, Lu Hai's elderly team, Captain. Lu Hai, second. Team Lei Yunfang, Captain. Lei Yunfang, third, Team Pearwood, Captain. Su Jingming, Team Combat Strength. 23,224th, Team Fairy Dance, Captain. Zhang Qing, Team Combat Strength. 21,680. Tomorrow, we will be holding the Firestarter Cup semi-finals, Lu Xian said in anticipation. One will be the team led by the world champion, teacher Lu Hai, and the team led by China's number 1 female contestant, Zhang Qing. The other will be the team led by teacher Lei Yunfang, who has the best movement technique in the world, against the team led by the young Su Jingming. A battle lineup appeared. September 5, 0.00. First match. Lu Hai's elderly team vs. Team Fairy Dance. September 5, 1.00. Second match. Team Lei Yunfang vs Team Pearwood. Su Jingming and the others from Team Pearwood looked at the battle lineup. Our opponent is Team Lei Yunfang. Li Miaomiao was a little nervous and expectant. Senior Lei Yunfang is world number 1 in terms of movement. When he first displayed his strength in the virtual world, his movement technique was at LV3. Su Jingming nodded. It's been more than a month, but I can't tell how strong his movement technique is unless I fight him personally. It's difficult for those who fought him to know how strong he is either, Wang Yi said. In China, there are few who can force Senior Lei Yunfang to reveal his true strength. All the team members agreed and felt the pressure. Anyways, it's easier than fighting my master, Lu Hai, Su Jingming said with a smile. My master, Lu Hai, is good in every aspect. He has no flaws. We'll defeat Senior Lei Yunfang's team first before meeting Master Lu Hai in the finals. Yang Qingshua clenched his fists. Quite confident, Han Fong said with a smile. Wang Yi said, confidence is needed. Compared to Lei Yunfang's team, Senior Lei Yunfang's 4 teammates are at least weaker. Senior Lei Yunfang is our only enemy. Yeah, it's just him. Su Jingming nodded. Captain is also the only person on our side who can threaten Senior Lei Yunfang. Yang Qingshua felt helpless. Wang Yi fell silent. She was a sharpshooter, so she should be of use. However, Lei Yunfang was too terrifying. Wang Yi didn't have the confidence to hit Lei Yunfang even when he was 10 meters away. As for within 10 meters. With Lei Yunfang's movement technique that was world number 1, it was already suicide to dare approach 20 meters. Is my next opponent Su Jingming? The cold-looking Lei Yunfang in the stands got up. Finally, an interesting battle. Lei Yunfeng hadn't encountered any threat since the Firestarter Cup started. In this battle with Su Jingming, he felt that he needed to showcase some of his true strength. The next match is with that lass, Zhang Qing. Lu Hai got up. Then, who will I meet in the finals? In his personal space, in the martial arts arena. Su Jingming stood there and opened his personal combat strength interface, genetic evolutionary method. Heavenly Python evolution, advanced 5%. 602 days of practice. No room for improvement, physique. 190 technique. Spearmanship, LV, 343%, footwork, LV, 3%, shield technique, LV, 331%. Basic combat strength. 4608 combat bonus. 40% combat strength. 6451 The improvement in my footwork has indeed improved my body's force delivery means. My spearmanship and shield techniques have also improved. Su Jingming nodded slightly as he stared at the interface. It was almost as he had guessed. But now that I've broken through in all three aspects, further improvement will take time. My strength has increased quite a bit. I can try challenging the Cosmos Tower again, Su Jingming thought. If I want to defeat Senior Lei Yunfeng, I have to clear the Cosmos Tower's third level first. Su Jingming immediately opened the mission space and headed for Cosmos Tower. Whoosh! He plummeted like a meteor and landed under the empty tower. Su Jingming looked up at the 6 familiar names on the Cosmos ranking, his eyes filled with anticipation. Then, he walked into the Cosmos Tower. Chapter 78. Tiger King. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 78. Tiger King. September 4, 17.50. In the martial arts arena in his personal space, Su Jingming carefully practiced Heavenly Python evolution. His entire body was like a flood dragon, sometimes rising, sometimes crouching, sometimes swimming, sometimes rising. After practicing Heavenly Python evolution, Su Jingming opened his personal combat strength interface and tapped lightly. Evolution has been maximized. Genetic evolutionary method. Heavenly Python evolution, advanced 18%. 602 days of practice. No room for improvement, physique. 195 technique. Spearmanship, LV, 346%, footwork, LV, 35%, shield technique, LV, 332%. Basic combat strength. 4680 combat bonus. 40% combat strength. 6552 I've already practiced the evolutionary method more than 20 times today, and it's getting harder and harder to improve. Su Jingming stared at his personal combat strength interface and thought to himself. My physique has increased by 5 points since midnight. Let's see if I can clear it this time. Whoosh! He headed for the mission space again, and as a stream of light, he plummeted and landed under Cosmos Tower. I failed the first 4 attempts today. I still can't defend against the Tiger King's attacks with my spearmanship. If I use a shield technique, I'll be able to last longer against the Tiger King. However, the damage from the shield strike is useless against the Tiger King's physique. Su Jingming also had a headache. The Tiger King's physique was terrifying, its strength, speed, and agility surpassed Su Jingming in every aspect. The 8 extremities shield technique was ferocious, but no matter how it smashed and struck, it only made the Tiger King's nose bleed. It didn't suffer any other injuries. He could injure the Tiger King with his spear, but the Tiger King's claws were too terrifying. Su Jingming couldn't defend against them at all. Back then, Master used both shield and saber. He could buy time using his shield in one hand for defense while giving up on attacking the Tiger King's vital spots with his other hand saber. Instead, he increased the number of injuries the Tiger King suffered. As time passed, the Tiger King's injuries worsened, and its strength decreased. Only then could Master kill the Tiger King. But I can't imitate Master, our combat methods are different. There's only one way for me to succeed, with a spear. Su Jingming understood this. The spear could at least break through the defense and threaten the Tiger King. It's no wonder only 6 experts in the world have cleared Cosmos Tower in the past month or so. The closer he was to victory, the more he understood how difficult it was to clear it. Su Jingming arrived at the 3rd floor of Cosmos Tower again. The familiar rainforest environment was dark and humid, and plants grew freely. Su Jingming wore light armor and held a spear as he looked around. His ears twitched, and he heard an undetectable sound. Su Jingming immediately looked over and saw a pair of dark yellow eyes staring at him from the shadows. "Stop hiding, you big cat." Su Jingming was also very familiar with the area. He immediately charged forward with his spear, and the tiger hiding there also charged out as if it had been offended. The two clashed head-on. Su Jingming tapped his feet and agilely flashed forward. He pushed his spear forward and pulled it out, not staying one moment longer. Pfft! A fatal wound appeared on the tiger's neck, and it turned ethereal and disappeared. After his body improved in all aspects, his spearmanship and other aspects improved. Ordinary fierce tigers on the 3rd level no longer posed a threat to Su Jingming. Roar! A deep roar sounded as fierce tigers appeared from all directions and surrounded him. Among them was the largest Tiger King. One of the Tiger King's front limbs was longer and thicker than Su Jingming's entire body, making it resemble a huge, furry pillar. Its head was incomparably huge, and its physique was terrifying. Heavy strikes were useless against it. "Kids, you guys aren't needed. Don't waste my time, I want to deal with the Tiger King." Su Jingming held his spear and charged forward. Immediately, 6 fierce tigers roared and charged over. Pooh! 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 Su Jingming's movement changed, and his spear turned into afterimages that stabbed 3 fierce tigers to death in the blink of an eye. The remaining 3 fierce tigers were alarmed and jumped away. At this moment, more ferocious tigers surrounded and attacked. Ha! These ordinary fierce tigers are indeed much less of a threat after my footwork breakthrough. Su Jingming was a human after all, and he was small. The tigers were too big, and it was difficult for them to form a perfect encirclement around Su Jingming with him shuttling between them with his movement technique. He usually only needed to deal with 2 or 3 tigers at a time. Spears could kill faster than swords or sabers. After killing a total of 12 tigers, the Tiger King, who had been silently watching Su Jingming, finally charged out. The other tigers obediently cooperated with the Tiger King, and Su Jingming's expression changed slightly. Whoosh! Su Jingming dodged behind the other tigers and didn't fight the Tiger King at all. The Tiger King roared, but Su Jingming was small and agile. He drilled through the cracks, and his spear danced as he kept reaping the lives of the ordinary tigers. The remaining tigers were even used by Su Jingming to block the Tiger King. Su Jingming culled the tigers by simply using his movement techniques. On the other hand, his master, Lu Hai, needed to close in and deliver a strike. Su Jingming stabbed out with his spear one after another in a way that was easier than his master. In less than 5 minutes, there were fewer than 10 tigers left. The Tiger King finally roared, and the remaining tigers retreated. "It's a 1.1 battle. Su Jingming gazed at the Tiger King. There was no other way. If he acted arrogantly and attempted to deal with the Tiger King and other tigers simultaneously, he wouldn't be able to last 10 seconds. Without having to worry about his back, he could fight the Tiger King 1.1 for a longer time. Boom! The Tiger King pounced forward, and a stench hit him in the face. Its 2 huge claws were much larger than Su Jingming's shield. Su Jingming's body flashed, and he hid behind a large tree before thrusting out rapidly. The huge tiger claw swiped down agilely and crashed into Su Jingming's spear. With a clang, it deflected the human strike. The moment it deflected this move, the Tiger King leaped and closed in. Su Jingming's figure flashed again, and his spear stabbed at the Tiger King's neck. The Tiger King raised its forelimbs slightly and swatted away the spear, but its other claw agilely grabbed at its opponent. Bang! Su Jingming retracted his spear and blocked. As he blocked, the terrifying impact immediately sent him flying. He tapped a tree trunk under his feet in midair and whooshed into the distance. The Tiger King leaped into the air with terrifying speed. Su Jingming was in a sorry state. He was disadvantaged in terms of speed and agility, and he could only rely on the environment. The trees and large amounts of vines posed an obstruction to the large Tiger King. Even if the Tiger King could crush the trees with a single swipe, it would still take time. One strike after another. Pooh! When the Tiger King impatiently tore through the tree, a spear instantly drilled forward when the tree exploded. It stabbed into the Tiger King's left forelimb and tore through the fur. Su Jingming fled the moment he pulled it out, and blood dyed the fur red. It's impossible to attack the Tiger King's vital spots in close combat. I have to injure its forelimbs and reduce its threat before I have a chance to attack its vital spots. Su Jingming understood this from his repeated clashes. This massive Tiger King furiously chased after the slippery human expert. Su Jingming used the environment to buy time or defended with his spear, but he would eventually make a mistake if he defended for too long. Whoosh! The huge claw tore through the air and grabbed Su Jingming's body, causing him to turn ethereal and vanish. I failed again. Su Jingming appeared outside Cosmos Tower and recalled the battle. This 1.1 battle went on for quite a while. I also added 7 wounds to the Tiger King, but I'm still far from killing it. If I want to win, I have to improve my spearmanship or my footwork, Su Jingming thought. But I can sense that it's not far. I should be able to clear it in a week. Being able to fight the Tiger King 1.1 for so long meant that their strength was very close. There was hope in clearing the 3rd floor. At home, Su Jingming and Li Miaomiao sat on the sofa after dinner, eating fruits and watching a television program. Jingming, you've been in the virtual world for way too long today. You also spend time there during the day. You've almost maxed out your 16 hours, right? Li Miaomiao asked. I'm just short of half an hour from maxing it, Su Jingming said with a smile. I won't be entering for the time being. I'll enter the virtual world again when the competition is about to begin. Why are you working so hard? Li Miaomiao asked. Didn't we only stay in the virtual world after dark? Have you changed your schedule? Su Jingming gently hugged his girlfriend and sighed. On the one hand, I feel that I'm getting closer and closer to clearing the Cosmos Tower's 3rd level. I want to clear it in one go. On the other hand, Senior Lei Yunfang is giving me too much pressure. Did you clear it? Li Miaomiao asked, and she immediately slapped her head. I'm being silly. If you had cleared it, the internet would have already exploded with the news. The entire world would have known about this. The Tiger King is too strong. Its body has surpassed the advanced evolutionary method in every aspect, Su Jingming said. Although its combat intelligence is inferior to that of humans, defeating it will still be very difficult. I should be able to clear it in a week. In a week. Li Miaomiao was a little excited. There are only 6 people on the Cosmos ranking now. There shouldn't be more than 10 people in a week. Jingming, you will be in the global top 10 then. Don't be in a hurry to be happy about something I haven't done, Su Jingming said. What we need to deal with next is Senior Lei Yunfang. Li Miaomiao lay in her boyfriend's arms and replied, yeah, Senior Lei Yunfang's movement is incredible. Sharpshooters aren't a threat to him at all from afar. When he's close, Lei Yunfang will catch up with anyone in a flash and kill them with a single strike. Sharpshooters can't threaten him, much less ordinary team members, Su Jingming said. As for 1.1, I have to admit that I didn't even clear the Cosmos Tower's third level. The competition would begin in a few hours. However, he was indeed lacking in confidence. Even if you fail, it's still a rare experience for you to hone yourself, Li Miao Miao comforted. There is always a winner and a loser in a competition. Don't worry about a moment's success or failure. The competition between experts in the virtual world is something that will happen in the next 5 to 10 years or even longer. We have to take a long-term view. Su Jingming lowered his head and kissed his girlfriend's forehead. Every time he was tired, his girlfriend would comfort him and make him feel more relaxed. Since we have nothing to do today, why don't we have some happy time? Su Jingming smiled at Li Miao Miao. Li Miao Miao blushed and said, "Go take a shower first." "All right." Su Jingming immediately got up and rushed to the bathroom. Chapter 79. Before the battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 79. Before the battle. While Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao were spending time together, Hang Fong and his wife were shopping. This is the busiest commercial complex in the city. Is it that deserted these days? Hang Fong and his wife shopped and looked up at the human traffic on each floor of the mall. Those that sell gold and jewelry feel like they have more salespeople than customers. His wife looked around as well. Ever since the virtual world's launch, fewer and fewer people come out at night. Most people enter the virtual world after work. Hang Fong nodded gently. Right, the goods sold these days are all through live streams in the virtual world. In the virtual world, you can try on any clothes you want. You can find any kind of clothes. Shopping is convenient and not tiring. Shopping in reality takes time, and there's very little to see. Look over there. His wife pointed at a few areas in the mall that had been covered and sealed. Those closed down, many of the tenants have cancelled their rentals. The virtual world has only been open for a month or so, yet it has such a huge impact. From the looks of it, there will be fewer merchants left in the mall in half a year. If this continues, the malls will have to close, Hang Fong said. It doesn't matter even if they're closed. You can order takeout for meals. Those are all first-rate chain restaurants, and the chefs are all top professional robots, his wife said. Some forms of entertainment are much cheaper in the virtual world. Cherish the mall in front of you. It will become a memory in the future. Hang Fong sighed with emotion. This was the current era. Some online companies had suffered a setback, and now, physical stores were suffering a setback. Those selling goods also switched to the virtual world. The cost of selling goods there was lower with a larger customer base. Why are you eating so slowly? It's been half an hour. You haven't finished eating. Lu Chongyuan, who was as muscular as a bear, roared at his 3 daughters. When I was your age, I wolfed down my food and finished it in a short time. You talk so much while eating. Don't you know not to talk while eating? The 3 daughters lowered their heads and ate slowly. Isn't it just a piece of meat? Can you finish it in one bite? This piece of meat has been in your bowl for 10 minutes. How many times have you chewed on it? You haven't even finished half of it. Lu Chongyuan stared at his eldest daughter. The flesh is a little tough, the eldest daughter whispered. And you, take a look. Look at how many rice grains are on your table. Is there a hole in your mouth? Clean it up yourself. Lu Chongyuan roared. Okay. The second daughter got some tissue and wiped the table. One piece of tissue will do. Can you not be so wasteful? Lu Chongyuan was so angry that his veins were twitching. He turned to stare at his third daughter. You, don't laugh. You eat the slowest. Dad, I'm a little dizzy. His third daughter held her head. Perhaps I had a heat stroke from my exercise today. You've already practiced the evolutionary method, so how can you suffer from heat stroke? Can you change the reason for lying? Show me your hand. Lu Chongyuan picked up the ferrule beside him. Mom, his third daughter immediately shouted. Her mother was watching the news a distance away. She was very calm and said casually, "Don't call me. Your father is the one who's taking care of your meals today. I'm not going to do anything." Slap. 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 Lu Chongyuan held his third daughter's palm with one hand and slapped her with the other. "Let's see you lie again." 8 minutes later. "Let's go to the virtual world." The three daughters immediately went to their rooms. Lu Chongyuan then collapsed into the living room. It's too tiring. Watching them eat a meal is more tiring than fighting 10 matches. Lu Chongyuan sat there. Calm down. It'll be better when they get older, his wife comforted. Why did we give birth to 3? Just one gives me a headache. 3. How are they a father's beloved? They're 3 mountains. Lu Chongyuan sighed. His wife said helplessly, how would I know? Why would I know I would have triplets? Also, we have to start house hunting, Lu Chongyuan said. Let's quickly change to a bigger house. With the 3 girls chattering all the time, it gives me a headache. We should also buy a better butler robot to help take care of the children. His wife immediately became expectant. You got the money. Soon. I'll receive the prize money the moment the competition ends. Lu Chongyuan thought of the prize money and said happily, it's at least 10 million. If I make it into the finals, the prize money will be even higher. This is the most I've ever earned. I was really carried by old Su this time. I won without doing anything. You have to work hard too. Don't be a burden, his wife said. Don't worry. I'll work hard too, Lu Chongyuan said. Are you confident in the semi-finals today? His wife asked. About that, Lu Chongyuan felt a headache. Senior Lei Yunfang is still a little terrifying. You can do 3-digit addition and subtraction, but you get 2-digit addition and subtraction wrong. Yang Qingshua looked at his son. Yang Tao, what's wrong with you? How can you get 18 plus 3 foot wrong? It's a question that you could solve during kindergarten. My eyes were playing tricks on me. Yang Tao lowered his head. Do 100 questions of 2-digit addition and subtraction. You are not allowed to enter the virtual world unless you finish them, Yang Qingshua said. Okay. Yang Tao hugged his father and leaned against him. Dad, don't be angry. I'll do it seriously. Yang Qingshua gently stroked his son's head. Shua, I heard you shouting from my room. You have to be patient when teaching children. Mrs. Yang walked out. Mom, help me take care of Tao Tao. I'm going to the virtual world first. The semi-finals will begin tonight, so I need more practice. Yang Qingshua got up. Go on, Mrs. Yang said with a smile. In a personal space, in the martial arts arena. On the battlefield, more than 100 cavalrymen charged at Wang Yi. With just a bow, Wang Yi strafed arrow after arrow. The arrows were extremely fast, and the cavalrymen collapsed one after another. The last cavalryman was killed by an arrow when he was 5 to 6 meters away from Wang Yi. I've practiced archery until it's instinct, but I still haven't broken through to LV3, Wang Yi thought. I followed the methodology of LV5 archery the country gave me and still can't break through. Why is it so difficult to break through to LV3? Wang Yi had long reached LV2 99% in all aspects and had been stuck at a bottleneck for more than half a month. I won't be of any use in this match unless I break through to LV3. Wang Yi continued practicing her archery. Continue practicing. Late at night, China's official live stream channel in the virtual world was extremely lively. A massive number of people kept pouring into the live stream, and the number of viewers in the live stream reached 600 million, it kept rising. In the past few days, all kinds of media outlets had been reporting on the Firestarter Cup. This was the biggest news in China in the past few days. People were naturally attracted, and the later battles became more intense and drew in bigger crowds. Su Jingming and Li Miaomiao arrived in the stands together and saw their parents. Old Su. Lu Chongyuan shouted from afar with his 3 daughters. Old Su, why are you so late? Heng Fong and Yang Qingshua walked over. You guys are early. The competition only starts at midnight, there's still 20 minutes. Su Jingming smiled. Sister Yi isn't here yet. That means I'm not the slowest. A group of people gathered together. Jingming, I'm about to assemble with the team. Follow me and greet your elders, Su Hong greeted. Coming. Su Jingming immediately went over. Let's go. The 2 of them tapped lightly and were teleported to Lu Hai in the stands. Lu Hai stood there, surrounded by Dai Tongda, Tian Itsu, and Qiu Yong. Beside him were some of his relatives. Dai Xiaoqing was also among them. At this moment, Zhou Fan appeared with his son, Zhou Yi. Come and greet your seniors. Su Hong walked over with his son. Master. Master. Dai Tongda smiled when Su Jingming greeted him and Lu Hai. Strictly speaking, Jingming only has 3 masters after all these years, me, his father, and Captain. Now that all 3 masters are on our team. Jingming, if you attack us in the finals, you'll be committing treachery against your masters. Listen to what you're saying. Zhou Fan walked over and smiled. Su Jingming doesn't even need to attack you, his teammates can deal with you. The only one who needs Su Jingming's attention is Captain. I'm looking forward to seeing him defeat me. Lu Hai looked at Su Jingming. There's still a huge gap between Master and me, Su Jingming said. Moreover, the biggest obstacle we're facing now is Senior Lei Yunfang. Our team is under a lot of pressure in the semi-finals that are about to begin, and we don't have the slightest confidence in overcoming this hurdle. Everyone in Lu Hai's elderly team nodded when they heard that. Lei Yunfang is very impressive. Lu Hai nodded. With his movement technique, it's very difficult for you to surround and attack him or do a 1-on-point-1 battle. This semi-final match will be very dangerous for you. In short, don't think too much and do your best. You'll only know who's stronger after fighting, Su Hong said. Su Jingming nodded. Su Jingming. Zhou Yi walked over and shook his hand. Zhou Yi. Su Jingming extended his hand. I saw the battle between you and Fang Yu, you completely suppressed Fang Yu and defeated him. I'm very impressed, Zhou Yi said. I lost to him. Su Jingming said, he wore heavy armor, so that gives him an advantage against you. If I were to encounter you, you would still be able to charge in front of me with your 2 shields and kill me with a single strike. Zhou Yi shook his head. I'm indeed weaker than the 2 of you. My archery isn't good enough, otherwise, Fang Yu wouldn't be able to block my arrows. My movement technique also isn't fast enough. If I were fast enough, he wouldn't be able to get close to me. Let's work hard together, Su Jingming said. Zhou Yi gave Su Jingming a deep look, nodded, and left. Su Jingming walked over to Dai Xiaoqing. Senior brother. Dai Xiaoqing smiled. Feeling stressed. Su Jingming looked at the girl. Immensely. Dai Xiaoqing wore a bitter expression. My father and the other seniors are all scheming and cunning like foxes. The most terrifying person is Senior Lu Hai, he's the world champion. Our entire team is thinking of throwing bodies at him, every single one of us counts. All the best, Su Jingming encouraged. Dai Xiaoqing looked at the system notification and immediately said, I have to assemble with the team. I'm about to go on stage. Go on. Su Jingming nodded. After walking around and meeting some friends, Su Jingming returned to his team. It was almost midnight, and the highly anticipated Firestarter Cup semi-finals finally began. Chapter 80. Lu Hai's True Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 80. Lu Hai's True Strength. In the stands, Su Jingming and the others watched the two teams on the commentary platform. After an interview and chat, the two teams finally headed for the combat space. It's about to begin, Su Jingming said. Watch this match carefully. Team Fairy Dance situation is very similar to ours, we can draw some experience from them. It's been a long time since Senior Lu Hai has truly revealed his strength. I hope we can figure out something, Wang Yi said. Everyone present watched carefully. Li Miao was among them and appeared to be watching seriously. The first semi-final match was held on the forest map. The forest was a little muddy after the rain. Lu Hai's team and Zhang Qing's team landed in different areas. Some were halfway up the mountain, some were on the ground, and some were on the trees. The four of you should join forces to deal with the four seniors first. Zhang Qing wore light armor that clung close to her body and had two swords on her back. She was a rather beautiful woman, but her eyes were as sharp as swords. Coach Lu Hai won't interfere in your battle. Yes, Captain. Yes, Master, the four female team members replied. In the forest, Team Fairy Dance Sun Yuding, Wang Yuan, Dai Xiaoqing, and Yuan Yujiao fought Su Hong, Dai Tongda, Tian Yixiu, and Zhou Fan first. 1.1 clashes ensued, and with the sharpshooters' help, arrows whistled across the battlefield as they fought. Lu Hai watched this scene with interest and admired the fights between the juniors. Under my guidance and the constant honing through the competition, the moves of Zhou Fan and the others have become more shrewd. Their teamwork has also improved. Those girls, beautiful they may be, but they are too young. They are still not staid enough. After a round of combat, 4 members of Team Fairy Dance were wiped out, while Zhou Fan, the archer from Lu Hai's elderly team, survived until the end. Whoosh! When she was the only one left in the team, Zhang Qing took action. Her figure was extremely fast as she charged at Zhou Fan. Zhou Fan didn't escape either, he stood still and watched silently. When Zhang Qing was 30 meters away, he suddenly started strafing with his bow and arrows. Zhang Qing didn't dodge and instead charged forward head-on. Her two swords flashed slightly and easily fended off the arrows. Swish! The sword swept past Zhou Fan's body, and he turned ethereal and disappeared. Zhang Qing turned her head and looked at Lu Hai in the distance, the latter had already walked over. Coach Lu Hai, aren't you drawing your weapon? Zhang Qing looked at him. I'll do it when I feel like it. Lu Hai was tall and stocky, and his hair was disheveled. His eyes burned as he looked forward to this battle. Make your move. Whoosh! Zhang Qing held her two swords as her figure flashed with extreme agility while she lunged at Lu Hai. Zhang Qing's sword technique was different from others, it exuded extreme beauty as if it were art. Therefore, Zhang Qing had many fans. This was because watching her use her sword technique was an ultimate form of enjoyment. Likewise, her sword techniques were very cruel under the beautiful facade. She was recognized as China's #1 swordsman. Clang! The moment Zhang Qing approached, Lu Hai, who was still standing there empty-handed, instantly drew the saber at his waist and blocked the strike. Zhang Qing didn't stop at all as she moved. At the same time, she delivered consecutive strikes, stabs, strikes, flicks, and slashes. A bout of dazzling sword flashes ensued, and for a moment, she had delivered a countless number of strikes. All one could hear was the sound of swords clashing. Zhang Qing instantly seemed to transform into several figures as countless sword beams surrounded Lu Hai from all directions. Lu Hai stood still and only used a saber to block Zhang Qing's sword at the precise moment every time. Zhang Qing has already pushed the agility of her movement technique and sword to a maximum. Su Jingming watched the live stream. Master is still the most terrifying. The range of movement afforded by Master's saber is very short, but he is able to achieve the best effect by moving the shortest distance without wasting any strength. Master's control of strength and space has reached an unimaginable level. Su Jingming was a little surprised. Zhang Qing's movement technique changes very quickly, and her dual swords are also very fast. However, all the changes in the sword technique's trajectory are completely within Master's expectations. Master said that he could control the enemy's speed, but now, Master has completely gained control of space. Su Jingming felt his master's ease. I've received more than 100 strikes from you. It's time for you to receive one strike from me. Lu Hai, who had stood still and didn't move a single step, suddenly moved. Boom! With this advancement, his figure turned into a blur. Zhang Qing's expression changed. She felt that she couldn't determine the area where Lu Hai's final attack was directed, and she paid extreme attention to the saber in Lu Hai's hand. Bang! Lu Hai's left fist was as fast as lightning as it tore through the void and struck Zhang Qing's abdomen. This punch was so fast that it came without any warning. Once he attacked, Zhang Qing didn't even have the time to react. This was a punch that was similar to Su Jingming's shadowless thrust, one that exceeded the reaction speed of one's neurons. Zhang Qing's entire body was sent flying like a cannonball, and she crashed into a tree behind her, causing it to explode. Zhang Qing kneeled on the ground and held her abdomen in pain. There was a huge dent in her light armor, and the terrifying impact ruptured her organs. Blood seeped out of her mouth and nose as she looked up at Lu Hai in disbelief. One punch. Zhang Qing turned ethereal and disappeared from the battlefield. Lu Hai stood still and sighed softly. You couldn't even take one punch. He cleared Cosmos Tower 38 minutes after its launch. After more than a month of tough training in the country's grooming, Lu Hai felt lonely. Even someone as outstanding as Zhang Qing failed to defend against his punch. She died from a single punch. The forest map collapsed. Lu Hai's team had clinched victory again. The entire China's live stream was a little stifled. The live stream was still replaying the battle from before. Everything became clearer in the slow-motion replay. Zhang Qing's movement technique was as fast as an illusion, and her dual swords were even faster. Lu Hai, on the other hand, only used a single saber and didn't take a single step. His single saber's simple displacement completely blocked all attacks. This single saber was like an all-round defense. Any attack within 3 feet of it would be blocked. Senior Lu Hai didn't even use a shield. He had cleared the 3rd floor of Cosmos Tower with his shield and saber. The male guest, Jean Fan, said with a trembling voice, "It's been more than a month since the virtual world's launch. What kind of attainment has Senior Lu Hai reached? Is the gap between other experts and the experts on the Cosmos ranking that exaggerated?" The female guest, Zhu Wenqing, was Zhang Qing's fanatical fan, but the gap in this battle was too great. Perhaps it's because Senior Lu Hai is world number 1 that there's a huge gap between him and the others, Lu Xian said. The male guest, Jean Fan, retorted, Senior Lei Yunfang is the world's number 1 movement expert. His movement speed is even more terrifying than Senior Lu Hai's. I finally understand why the officials held the Firestarter Cup and fixed Senior Lu Hai and Senior Lei Yunfang's teams to Team 1 and Team 2. Zhu Wenqing shook her head. They're too strong. Countless audience members were in a daze. After watching so many matches, I've always felt that Team Fairy Dance is very strong. They won every match, and Zhang Qing appeared very relaxed the entire time. She didn't even use her full strength. But in front of Lu Hai, why couldn't she withstand a single punch? Can't light armor block swords, sabers, and arrows? How can Lu Hai's fist kill his opponent just from hitting the armor? Is Lu Hai's fist a fist? That's even more terrifying than a heavy hammer. Didn't you see that Lu Hai can split heavy armor in half with a single strike? Lu Hai's realm is too high. I reckon his physique and his combat techniques are ridiculously high. That's why he can crush her so easily. Is this the strength of the world champion? It's said that young people have potential. Why do I feel like the gap between the young and this old man is getting wider and wider? Countless comments flooded in. People in China had mixed feelings about Lu Hai. First, they were proud of him for being world number one. Second, they felt that Lu Hai was too strong, far stronger than others. Master is really strong. Su Jingming was secretly surprised. Master only truly revealed a portion of his strength after meeting Zhang Qing throughout the Firestarter Cup. However, it's also strength that throws one into despair. The other teammates could only look up to him. If Su Jingming could see through many things and felt that he could exchange 8 to 10 moves with him, his other teammates felt that he was stronger, far stronger than them. Lu Hai is really strong. With his current realm, he should still be world champion, right? Pang Zhe said in the stands. Director Zhou nodded gently. Although the other experts around the world are improving quickly, Lu Hai has also been improving. His combat strength is still world number one. It's our country's fortune to have such an expert, Pang Zhe said. Director Zhou said, we now value him very much and are willing to groom him with all our might. It's just that Lu Hai didn't ask for any new resources after choosing the LV-5 shield saber technique. I think highly of him. Pang Zhe nodded. His future is limitless. Director Zhou's heart stirred. He knew very well how sharp Pang Zhe's judgment was. Other than him, who else are you optimistic about among the experts in China? Director Zhou asked. Don't you already know? Pang Zhe smiled. I got my son to learn spearmanship from Su Jingming 3 years ago. Who do you think I'm optimistic about? Director Zhou nodded slightly. Do you think so highly of Su Jingming?